We're now one of my favorite places in Los Angeles, In-N-Out Burger. We don't have those in New York. In fact, every once in a while, some cruel person starts a rumor, generally on a foodie website, that In-N-Out is coming to Brooklyn or to one of the boroughs, and everybody in New York goes insane. Oh my God, In-N-Out is coming. What can I say about this place? It's the only fast food chain that I actually like and think is reasonably good for the world. Whenever I come to LA, in fact, one of the reasons I look forward to doing the taste is because as soon as I arrive, I'll hit the airport In-N-Out, and on my way out of town after finishing the taste, I'll pick up another. Every once in a while, I'll even buy a big reeking bag of burgers with onions and fries and shakes, and I'll bring them back to my very nice hotel lobby, and it's really an amazing thing to see. Generally speaking, when you walk through the lobby of a nice hotel with a big reeking bag of fast food, people look at you like, you're low class, or, why are you bringing that in here? We do have a restaurant. No, nothing but love and admiration. Even from the staff, they're like, good going, sir. Nicely done, sir. Excellent.
So that was a judging conversation. The question is his whole life a judging conversation all the time? I'm walking down the hallway with a reeking bag of In-N-Out, and people are judging me. If I got fast food, I'm probably not thinking about that. I think an observer isn't obsessing over that.
I would like to be eating that right now. Something else interesting about In-N-Out I found. I use Instagram a lot. And I found that if I were to take an Instagram picture of myself and with some really interesting people, let's make up a scenario. Me, Christopher Walken, the Dalai Lama, and Keith Richards in a hot tub, doing bong rips. Pretty interesting stuff, you'd think, right? I'm good for a few thousand likes on Instagram. And that's about all I'll get in an hour. Maybe 4,000 or 5,000 likes if I put that picture up. However, and I found this from experience, if I simply take an isolated photograph of my In-N-Out burger sitting on a table, an anonymous In-N-Out burger, I'll get like 50,000 likes in 9 minutes. So, the thing about a burger is there are many forces at play with a properly made burger. You got to have a decent bun, right, to start with. Bun selection, very important. Good quality meat. Also, that would be nice. Non-limp, reasonably fresh greens and garnishes, also good. Cheese, you don't want fancy cheese. You don't want, no. Whatever that is, this cheese-like substance is just perfect. But notice it's two thin patties together, okay? Maximum surface area, therefore exposing the maximum areas of meat surface to the popples of the tongue. It's brilliant. This is like a ballistic missile. Perfectly designed delivery system, protein delivery system.
So you heard him talking about a ballistic missile. That's an analogy. He mentioned him and Christopher Walken in a bathtub. That's an analogy. But he also went through the sensory of you need a good bun, patty, nice lettuce and garnishes, and fake cheese. And that was all sensory. So you're hearing both. I think the question is which one is dysfunctional? Where is he the most powerful in life? Is it in the sensory or in the intuition?
I think one of the things you said in that piece is that we would be shocked at how much butter goes into everything.
Yeah, I hope I haven't frightened anyone away, but it is usually the first thing and the last thing in just about every pan.
Really?
Yeah, that's why restaurant food tastes better than home food a lot of the times. Butter.
Even when you say, look, I don't want any butter, or I don't want any...
No, if you say absolutely no butter, just about every chef I know will, of course, refrain
But
from
most
using
things have butter because butter makes things taste better.
Yeah, it's a chef's secret. It mellows sauces. It gives it that restaurant sheen and emulsified consistency.
So he's having no trouble at all with the sensory. And when, say, Byron Katie comes on Oprah, the whole episode is about NF. It's about your patterns and your life and your feelings. When Anthony Bourdain comes on Oprah, what is being talked about? It's butter, which is sensory. So I think that's what Dave and Shan mean by what is this conversation about.
And it tastes good.
Yeah, nothing like it.
And it tastes good. So you say that by the average person when they go out to dinner eats about a quarter stick of butter and doesn't know it.
Well, assuming you're going to a French restaurant, classic French restaurant, and you have a little bread and butter, but waiting for your appetizer to come on board. By the time you leave the restaurant, you've probably eaten about a stick plus. Sure.
A stick plus.
Yeah.
Oh. Enjoy your meal. You say it pains you when you see a customer get up and go to the bar to smoke a cigarette. Why?
Well, even when I'm at other restaurants, because I know what that does to kitchen timing. The waiter about to come out with the entree sees a customer bolt for the bar, is in a very tricky position. Do they go back? Do they go to the customer and say, "I'm sorry, we're about to serve your entree"? Does he serve food and allow it to get colder? Does he go back to the kitchen and tell the chef to hold back on table 7, which might lead to dismemberment?
Because for you, it's all about timing. It's all about timing.
Yeah, it's a choreography involving a lot of cooks, a lot of waiters. Restaurant business is there's a large element of show business to it, and it requires a lot of people all moving together to come up on something at the same time.
So it's a dance to get the food to the table.
So that sounded like OI, organize. We need everybody to be on the same page, and then you look at Anthony, and it's not that big a deal. Maybe it is a demon, but I don't think that you hear his tone of voice. He's not spiking on, oh my God, they got up to get a cigarette. He doesn't seem to be spiking there.
And it's hot.
Yeah, the good-looking dance is out front. The not-so-pretty dance is in the back. More
Okay.
like a mosh pit.
Do you say the people who order meat well done may get the tougher cuts of meat? Why?
Traditionally, well-done eaters get very little respect from the kitchen. We assume that if you order your steak well done, you're really not going to notice if it's the nervy, tendony chunk. You want it incinerated into a hockey puck. We're clearly not going to give you that.
So when you say I want it well done, you're really saying I really
Please
don't.
give me your lesser cut.
Please give me your lesser cut. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my. And what's your best secret, do you think?
Best secret, I mean, pride. You look for pride in the restaurant, a focused menu, a restaurant that decides early on what they're good at and does that relentlessly.
You like where you go to restaurants that specialize in certain things, right?
I'm looking for a tight menu. I don't want to see nachos, teriyaki, sushi.
So again, that's all sensory. Nachos, teriyaki, sushi. He's good at both, and he'll occasionally throw out an analogy, and the analogy catches you off guard. But I think that he's got a lot of sensory ability too. This doesn't strike me as an intuitive who is just struggling over the sensory all the time, constantly tripping up over the sensory.
Michael Corleone got it completely wrong. All business is personal. Eric calls up and says, let's play. I play. There's certain people in your life who call you up 4 o'clock in the morning and say, meet me on the corner of Avenue D and 4th Street and bring a handgun and a stolen car, a tarpaulin, and some duct tape. You don't ask why, you just go.
Sex.
So that sounded like the spectrum of sensory. Handgun, tarp, 4 in the morning. That's a bunch of random sensory.
Related.
Drugs.
We're sort of ahead of the curve on the cocaine thing.
Rock and roll.
If you could play guitar like Jimi Hendrix, would you be in a kitchen?
And food.
It's forgivable to overcook this.
Today my guest, Anthony Bourdain. And everything is on the table. My dream is to see Anthony Bourdain waking up in his pajama before coffee. I want to see him and see his face and see how he is. I have never seen that. He has never shown that yet. No matter where he is, no matter what he does, he's never uncomfortable. It's always fun.
Ah, you made it. What's up? How you doing?
We're cooking lunch. We're not ordering out, and I have to say you're my second choice. I stopped over at Ina Gardens on the way over. She's always cooking meatloaf. Wasn't
Okay,
around.
so we have bread. This is a little bit beat up by the heat.
Green pepper,
Oh, you peeled onion, that's cool.
garlic. We
That's
should,
what we have.
can you guess what we're going to cook?
No, what is that?
From what I've gathered, this guy is a really close friend of Anthony Bourdain. I think his name is Eric Riper. And this guy kind of seems to know about Anthony's bullshit. Like, they're such close friends. Like, you can't fool me, kind of thing. Yeah.
Was stuck. Perhaps
surprised,
this
I
will
thought
bring
you-
you to the general area of the world that we're talking about here.
Where is it? Oh, cumin, right?
Yes.
Codfish, clams, and octopus. Surprised me. And you know what? I was sure you would bring some meat. I thought he would come and cook some meat or some offals.
Oh man, I'm all about the bounty of the sea.
Excellent. So we're going to start to cook?
This is a dish from my checkered past called Portuguese seafood stew, and I learned how to do this at a Portuguese fishing village. There was this one place called Cookie's Tap Room or Cookie's Pub. I mean, the place was a dive, and they made this
over there.
amazing, murky bowl of stuff that I just fell in love with, and I started hanging around there trying to
Let's-
figure out how to do it.
Let's go and let's cook.
Yeah.
He cooks rarely, and he's a very good cook. I trust that it's going to be good, and it's basically soul food that he's cooking today.
You know the whole thing about white wine and fish? It's a damnable lie. Red wine and fish is awesome.
I love red wine and
Right,
fish.
especially with octopus. One of the
Yeah,
things I love about this dish is that it's really robust and it's got an almost inky color.
Okay, so let's move on. We have our octopus. I don't know what you want me to do.
Let's wrap that up like that.
I'm your sous chef, but you're the chef, you have to cook, man. You learned that when you were in college, basically.
Yeah, summers hanging around in Provincetown, working as a dishwasher, as a fry cook. You know, it was all about go to the beach during the day.
And you were having a good
Work.
time, and you were making some money and so on. But did you graduate first from college, or you
No,
didn't?
I was a miserable student.
He has a lot of experience with interviews.
I'm a memoirist. If you ask me questions about me, chances are I've been asked that question recently.
And he has a way of expressing himself that sometimes hides the real Anthony Bourdain that he is.
I covered my shyness with a megalomania and a exhibitionism. Some might even call it psychotic behavior. I hated myself. I hated everybody else.
You were coming from a good family, right? I mean,
I
you
grew
had...
up in like Leave It to Beaver, you know, it was suburbia. For whatever reason, I was an angry, maladjusted kid. I hated college, and this sort of outlaw, piratical attitude of the chefs appealed to me. If I showed up on time and I did a good job, I was rewarded. I had a real high opinion.
So this sounds like DI. I hated everybody else, and he's telling his buddy Eric just random me stories, and Eric is just listening. You notice this isn't all about Eric, and I guess it is. I guess it is an interview of Anthony Bourdain, but this sounds like a decider conversation from Anthony Bourdain, specifically DI.
I thought I was an experienced cook, and I shot my mouth off in front of a lot of more experienced and better cooks than me.
Yeah.
Basically, I got my ass kicked horribly and publicly, and I made a complete jackass out of myself in front of all of them. So really out of desire to avenge my humiliation, I went to the CIA.
You go to the CIA,
Uh-huh.
and are you a good student?
Not only was I a pretty good student,
Yeah.
I was working weekends in New York.
So you graduate with honors. After going to such a great, prestigious school, you don't go to a fine dining restaurant. What?
So he's working weekends in New York while he's going to an intensive culinary school, and he did so because he felt personally humiliated by this episode in which the tribe hurt him. So what I'm hearing is play above sleep, and then I'm hearing DI as well.
People were overly impressed with my degree. Life was easy, and I went for the money.
When do you start to have problems with drugs?
Any illusions I had about being the next Paul Bocuse, chances are there were chemicals involved in that. From age 13 or 14 on, me and my friends defined ourselves by not just what records we were listening to, but what drugs we were doing, okay? So I arrived in college at age 17, like, where's the coke and the acid?
And that was already fashionable?
Now, we were sort of ahead of the curve on the cocaine thing. How spicy you want this?
For me, I like it spicy. I don't know for you.
If you want a flop sweat-inducing version, it'll take a heavy hit of, like, hot sauce, either Tabasco or the turkey.
So you're putting the cumin now, what, to toast it or to...
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's throw in our octopus.
in it.
And that'll cool down the pan considerably. Let's add some wine here.
That's it?
Yep. We can let that go for a little bit. In fact, we can even bring it down a little bit.
So you end up in Leal.
I hustled my way into chef's jobs very easily on the strength of a CIA degree and a couple of years kicking around New York. I ran a number of restaurants as a chef in a very sweet life, getting a lot of things that a young man traditionally likes. But among those things was, a serious drug habit.
So I know this is an interview, but it seems like it's all just a sort of a me story. He's not bringing up other people. DE would be bringing up other people even in their interview about them. So I think this is more DI, also more OE, and you're cross-checking that with the consume first. I'm seeing a judging conversation, and specifically demon tribes, savior, self, and I'm cross-checking that with I'm seeing sensory and intuition. I'm seeing him take responsibility for the ingredients and the food, and then I'm hearing him with so many of these funny analogies. And then on top of that, I'm also seeing OE. He has this need for variety and to try new foods and things like that. And then also OI, he's taking responsibility for his kitchen, and this guy gets up for a cigarette break and it messes up the order, and I'm not freaked out about that because I'm doing both OI and OE. So if he is a decider, then we get rid of the IJs and EPs. If he has Savior Self and Demon Tribe, then he's not an EJ. If he's Play Above Sleep, then that cuts pretty deep. But he's clearly Savior Consume. He's Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, traveling all over the world. But he's not Play Last or Blast Last. He has no trouble getting out, and he has no trouble talking. He can talk for hours. So he's not Blast Last either. And this isn't a, ISTP or INTP. I'm not seeing the TIFE characteristics. And it's hard to tell between these two types, but I'm going to guess that he's Savior on the sensory. He is owning his kitchen, going to physical places, taking more action rather than gathering understanding and cataloging the sensory. He seems to be more gathering the experiences and formulating a story of his own life in the intuition, which is more NI. And then I would guess that he's masculine sensory, but feminine with the tribe. So that concludes me typing Anthony Bourdain as best as I can. Thanks for watching.